Ah, nice, relaxing day. Oh, it would have been if Blizzard wasn't a bunch of dumbasses. Now, wouldn't it? Yeah, leave it to Blizzard to be a bunch of dumbasses like usual. So, for those who didn't really hear, Blizzard basically made Overwatch 2 completely pointless. So Overwatch 2, was announced to be this big upgrade because it was going to have PvE mode added. Now, PvE did exist in Overwatch 1, but they were basically kept to like little events and stuff that happened in the game. So they were like a very seasonal thing that happened here and there, and they were very sparse. They weren't very common, and there was only a few of them. There were a very small handful of them. And they were all fun, to be fair. But, this new mode in Overwatch 2, the big selling point for Overwatch 2 was going to be an expanded version of that with a big PvE mode, skill trees and everything for all the characters and everything. It was going to be a really cool mode. And, I supposedly heard that was going to actually be a paid for product. Don't know how true that is, but because to be honest, I never heard about that. But seeing some of the people who've talked about this whole knuffle there, because I mean, like everyone's basically talking about it, because it's such a shit show, and it's like an extra cherry on the shit bag that Blizzard has been with all this shit. You know, I used to call Blizzard the last good Western fucking developer in the gaming industry. Because when Activision bought them, I dropped that like immediately. I was like, yeah, that's done deal now. That's it might be okay. It was okayish when they forced bomb because obviously they just freshly bombed, but it's like I know that this is going to be the beginning and the end, and it slowly has became that. The Diablo 2 Resurrection became online only. Diablo 4 is announced as online only. Both stupidly needless. Overwatch 1 gets shit canned for Overwatch 2, and now we have the newest kerfuffle, Overwatch 2's PvE, the quote unquote whole big reason to even get fucking Overwatch 2, the whole point of doing it, down the fucking drain. They canceled it. Now, in its place, it sounds like, according to what I'm understanding, it sounds like they're gonna go and do kind of a similar thing to Overwatch 1, where they're just gonna have these kind of little seasonal event type things, which I guess is better than nothing, but it's not what you promised. Now, admittedly, Overwatch 2 is a free to play game. And that's where, like, what I'd saying, like, I've heard people say that the PvE mode was going to be a paid experience type thing, and obviously, people dumped money in the skins and shit. There definitely was obviously people excited about this because there was tons of people fucking upset about this. And some people, like, well, it's a free to play game, so you can't really complain much. But I mean, like, that's where it morally becomes kind of questionable. Like, people have dumped their actual money into this game even before that even existed. If it was a PVE, I mean, if it was a pay to play thing for the PVE, I mean, regardless, there were people who've dumped money in Overwatch 2 excited for the future of it, and now it's just been shit kid. Now, I'm not here to necessarily say it was a horrible or good idea either way. Because, I mean, Overwatch has always had a horrible case of not having tons of content coming out at one time. And they supposedly say the choice of canceling it was so they can get more content out. So I guess we'll see in time whether that holds up. Now, to be fair, I haven't played Overwatch 2. I played a good chunk of Overwatch 1. I really liked it Overwatch 1 until the usual problem I have with Blizzard games came up. They started fucking with everything. Like, I'm all about trying to keep things balanced, but like it was to the point where some heroes were virtually not even playing remotely how they originally played, and that's where I just got sick. They fucking fucked Lucia, they fucked Morsi, they fucked Junkrat, they fucked every fucking character I liked playing as, and after all, I just got sick of really playing. I liked it being a support hero type person. They destroyed all the hero support people I liked and stuff. It just So I mean, I kind of fell out of Overwatch 1, and a lot of my old friends did too for varying other reasons than that. And like none of us have touched Overwatch 2 at all. Like it's just hasn't I haven't really cared to even look at. I mean, I know it's free. Like, I could download it now on PS4 and have all the heroes since I purchased all the OG heroes since I was a owner of the original Overwatch. Because apparently, if you didn't play the original Overwatch and you start a new account, you don't get access to all the fucking OG heroes. Which kind of like, I mean, when I heard that, it was probably one of the big reasons I didn't give a shit about Overwatch 2. Because like prime the prime concept was that, you could change a hero to try and counter and defeat the current setup of your opponent in it. And when you don't have access to at least a primary amount of characters that can cover each of the type of classes, then it feels like you're going against the game's design altogether. But yeah, I can't say I'm very surprised. Blizzard has lost most of its really senior people that it's had in its company over these years of Activision owning them. And it's just been a giant shit fest mess. Not even going into the shit like the working conditions on all those acquisitions and a lot of the censorship and purging of shit. Like, it's one thing to go after employees, especially obviously if there's actual evidence about these actions. And then I'm not here to say who did and didn't do what of that, because to be honest, I didn't follow all that shit. I honestly gave up on Blizzard way before this point, honestly. Like, seriously. I had already given up on Blizzard, so none of this really fucking matters too much to me, honestly. Because, I mean, Diablo 3 was always basically a dead game to me. It just wasn't Diablo to me. And the last two Diablos, and then goes as the mobile game and shit. And I mean, like, and the death toneness of their own fucking audience. It's just really weird, the whole cell phone thing. Like, oh, don't you got a phone? Like, your primary audience is a bunch of PC fucking people who devote themselves to your games and went to your fucking convention, and your big announcement was a fucking mobile game. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine going to a bunch of I couldn't imagine standing up as a company we're known for PC games, standing up in front of a giant crowd of people who are like 99% PC fucking people and just tell them that, the next big entry in Diablo is going to be a mobile game. And you gotta remember that was before Resurrection and for whatever announced. So it's just like, what the Oh my goodness. I don't know. But yeah, I can't be say I'm surprised. I'm sure they're running out of fucking people. I mean, like the main guy who was like in charge of the Overwatch shit left. He left Overwatch. He left Blizzard. And this could very well been a reason for that. It's very, very possible that this could have some slight connection to his reasons of leaving. And honestly, it definitely was a lot of work. Now, like I said, we can argue here whether or not it was the right decision or not to supposedly get content out in a better weight and that. That's an argument one could make based on things, but personally, from my point of view, we would need to know a lot about the history of Overwatch 2's development to really know if that has some justification to it. Which honestly, we're probably never going to get anytime soon. So we'll never really know. But, I think at the end of the day, I think one of the most important things is that Blizzard did a Squire Enix. So, for a lot of people who aren't familiar with the PS3 era of Squire Enix, Squire Enix, and even to a certain extent, even now, though they've gotten better about it, Square Enix had a very bad habit of fucking announcing shit way before they should. And then it would like languish in hell for years and years and years and years, not knowing if anything was ever going on. Like the game that Final Fantasy 15 was originally going to be was in development fucking hell. And they announced it so early, people just didn't know what the fuck was going on with it. There's a reason that sometimes it's better off not immediately telling some shit until you're really sure that's going to be the thing. I know ideas and things change sometimes in development, and sometimes certain things get announced. Like for example, I'll throw some fair criticism here. I love FromSoft and all, but FromSoft has done it too. Dark Souls 3, they were hyping up this whole idea that you would be able to set your own bonfires in the world. That got scrapped. Though on PC, you can activate remaining code of it and show off what it was going to be like. But yeah, that was going to be a pretty interesting mechanic. Got scrapped though, and that kind of thing does happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to the best of them. It certainly does, but Blizzard has such a shit track record at this point, and like seriously, like Overwatch 2 should never either came out or the PvE mode should have never been announced until later. But obviously, they needed that announcement because they needed some justification on switching to Overwatch 2. And, originally they were saying they were going to keep both of them up and that the PvP would crossplay. But, then they were like, we need to shut this down. Like, there was basically no real fucking point at this point of doing anything. Like, they should have just updated Overwatch 1. But obviously, they didn't want to do that because they weren't getting money much anymore, probably after people were getting done with loot boxes, getting all kinds of laws on them in varying countries. And, at this point, you can get Overwatch 1. Well, I mean, at this point, I imagine physical copies are worthless now. But, I mean, before when it was still online, you could find physical copies used in a lot of places. So, and since heroes are always given to everyone, the fixation of spending money was dying in Overwatch 1. And it just another reason it comes off to me that they were just looking for a way to do a whole new monetization system for the game. And it's a real shame because Overwatch, it's amazing how we went from Overwatch 1 being this exciting new world, all these new fascinating characters with stories and backgrounds and shit. And then all the time that we've had Overwatch 1, we only got small snippets of it, the overall arcing world and story and things that happen. But ultimately, through Overwatch 1, not a whole lot of shit fucking happened. And like, I remember when I did watch like the announcement for Overwatch 2 and all that, and it's like the fucking CG scenes like, hey guys, we just fucking actually progressed the storyline like by 1 hour. It's time to actually do something now. Oh fuck. And like, have they even really done anything more with the story either? Like, I don't think they have. I don't know for sure, but I don't think they have, other than introducing a few new characters. It's It's tough lately. Oh, excuse me. But ultimately, it's not a big loss to me. It's a loss to those who really enjoyed Overwatch. That's for sure. That is a big loss for those type of people that still were playing Overwatch. Some people probably don't necessarily care about the PvE. You know, like I have fun with the PvP and that, but you know, I would have liked it, especially like the idea of having the skill tree thing. That would have been a really neat idea to add a lot of replay value. Because, you know, you get those times where you get stressed out from some PvP matches. And, you know, some PvE is always good. And who doesn't like a little bit of good, jolly cooperation after all, too, right? Yeah. But, yeah, I. The PvE mode was probably the only thing that would have gotten me to check out Overwatch 2, and it's gone. So, I don't really have any real fucking reason to care about it. I don't even have anyone on my friend list who plays it, so I don't really have any real reason to care about it. And I don't really have any real reason to care about any Blizzard products at this point. I mean, all the products are basically turning into online only fucking shit, which I don't really care about. I didn't touch Diablo 2 Resurrection. The only way I would touch that is basically if I'm giving it for free through like PlayStation Plus or something. If I get it for free, then sure I'd play through it. But I'm not paying for that. Fuck that. I'm not supporting online only for a fucking game that should have a functional offline mode. Fuck that. Now, I've heard justification with 4 that it's going to have this kind of big open world aspect to it of that, which is actually not very shocking considering some of the MMO like elements that Diablo 3 introduced. So it wouldn't, like, I heard there were like world bosses in the beta. So to me, that kind of comes off like they're trying to make the world a lot more MMO ish. So I can't say I'm necessarily surprised that it has like a an online component, but that to me that's not what Diablo is, and yeah, I don't give a shit about it. Fuck it. Maybe down the road we'll get like some GOG version 20 years or something. Who knows? Or maybe they'll make a new console version with offline mode. I don't know. Personally, I was hoping that, like, as long as the console version stayed offline, I would have gotten those. But the fact that they kept them as online only, it just seemed like a dickish mood to me. A dickish move to me. Like, like, did they not learn anything from the whole Ha Blue with Diablo 3? But then again, it feels like people just don't really give a shit much anymore. You know, like a lot of people right now are like talking about how this is like the 10-year anniversary of the worst console launch ever, which was, you know, the Xbox One. Well, it was. It is probably will remain one of the worst console launchers in a long time because as much as, you know, those consoles fundamentally that were horrible, at the end of the day, you know, you can still play a Jaguar Atari Jaguar while in the future in Xbox One until it's like super hacked it, and even after being super hacked, you know, you're gonna have to likely do shit to get into that working condition. It's in a spot where there's no guaranteed capability of continuing to play it until people compromise the system. Because at the end of the day, if the system ever has to restart, like you know, you do a whole clear the system thing, you have to connect it to the internet once, and that's just terrible. I love all the DRM shit. It's happened once in a while with that piece of crap, but you know that's a whole different subject now. But yeah, I can't say I'm gonna be excited about anything from Blizzard in a long while. Maybe one day they'll do something interesting again for me, but yeah, the Blizzard I grew up with, you know, I grew up playing StarCraft, Warcraft 2, Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Warcraft 3. Like, those were the golden years. Those were my PC years. Those were the only real years I had a lot of fun doing PC gaming versus these days. Well, PC shit's just a nightmare to me. I know there's a lot of people who like doing PC gaming, and there's nothing wrong with that. But hey, I have a lot of bad luck at times with a lot of games. Yeah, there are good games that don't have problems, but then there's sometimes ones that do, and I hate when I spend like a fucking hour or more trying to figure out how and why a fucking game won't fucking win or anything. It's annoying to me. It's annoying. I didn't spend, $60+ to fucking try and figure out why a game won't work. I don't like that. But that's just me, you know. I'm also not a great smarty person when it comes to PC shit either, but hey, But anyway, we're being attacked. But yeah, those are really my thoughts. It's pretty bullshitty. I honestly think they should have just not announced the PvE and kept more work on Overwatch 2. I mean, if they had to push out, I wouldn't have doubted. Always announced the PvE, or at least not in the capacity way they did it. Because I mean, seriously, the way they showed it was like, here's the whole point, and it's gone. It's a dick move, regardless of whether you think it's going to be for the betterment of the game content. It's still a dick move, and it's just something that's becoming more common. And I mean, like I said, it's nothing new, and it's one or two things when it's just a minor mechanic. But like we're talking about like what again, what was basically the point of fucking Overwatch 2. The big point. And it's gone. And I love how those people calling this Overwatch Reforged now because of it. That's hilarious and wildly accurate, oddly enough. Uh well, enjoy your Overwatch Reforge.